First time we've ever had two guests as well. One of them, Victor, he's living the dream, doing shit. And then we've got Kaylin here, first sales hire of something called Zero, which is a really interesting artificial intelligence app that listens to your sales conversations, analyzes it, and gives feedback to the sales manager, the CEO, the GSM.
We understand field sales could be the fastest path to financial freedom.
The only way to move your bottom line is to improve efficiency.
Yep.
If I'm going to spend, if I'm going to spend $100,000 on marketing, I want to get $70,000 worth of marketing out of it rather than $30,000 worth of marketing.
People who are using Zero are making $40,000 more than the people who are not using Zero.
40% income increase just because you've got something giving you good feedback and helping make you better.
Bingo.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Ryan Stewman podcast. Today's episode is how to make money from everything. Occasionally we do these episodes where we bring awesome people with awesome companies in here and we talk about the future and how they can make money from it. Today we have two awesome guests. It's the first time we've ever had two guests as well. One of them, Victor, over here, who I've known for several years, spoke at three of your events now. Has it been three? So spoke at three of your events. Victor has made a significant exit from his HVAC company and out in California, built the company, sold it. So he's living the dream, doing shit. He's also got the addiction because now he's just buying more of the shit that he already sold. So he's going to repeat that process. We'll get into that. And then we've got Kaylin here, who is the CEO, I'm guessing?
Not CEO, but first sales hire.
So the first sales hire. Start to say you're smart if you own it and you're not the CEO, because I don't own my. I'm not the CEO of my shit either. But first sales hire of something called Zero, which is a really interesting artificial intelligence app that you can put on your phone that listens to your sales conversations from your home services, at home, door-to-door knockers. They turn this on, it records the conversation, and then it actually analyzes it. It has smart analytics in there that analyzes it and gives feedback to the sales manager, the CEO, the GSM, whatever that position is, to where they can critique which sales calls are better, which sales calls are the ones that are effective, which word tracks and which construction of words actually allowed the sale to close. Like, actually absolutely fucking brilliant software. And so I want to bring these guys in because I've been telling y'all for 7 years that the life of a salesman is real short. I'm not trying to scare you, but the life of a salesman is on short notice because, and people argue with me this, I've been saying it since 2017, it's 2024, so I got 7 years of claiming this, but the longevity of salespeople, they're on written notice. Artificial intelligence is going to replace a large majority of salespeople. And right now we're in a great period for the next 3-4 years where it's going to help enhance a lot of salespeople before it takes them over. The reason why I think it takes them over is like, and you guys may even have this as part of your app, but I know applications out there and stuff to where they can't tell. And matter of fact, with ChatGPT 4.0 and Go High Level together, there is actually a way that they can record your voice and then actually do the sales call with the right answers, the right word tracks, the effective stuff like you guys are doing. A salesperson does not even need to be involved, and the customer doesn't even know it's artificial intelligence. Now, I can only speculate that there's going to be our wonderful people that are assholes that govern this country, or at some point they're going to say you got to give the disclaimer that you're talking to artificial intelligence. But right now, that doesn't exist. And we're at a time where if you're a smart salesperson, a smart business owner, you're going to use artificial intelligence to enhance your capabilities and all of that stuff. But there's going to become a time where it's like Terminator, the machines replace the humans. You know, it's really going to. And so as a business owner, that's why I brought the Zero guy here with us today. And Victor's obviously a partner of that company too. But there, as a business owner, I said this in 2014 about funnels and websites. If you didn't start knowing funnels and websites, you were going to be replaced by your competition that understood them, and that's happened to a lot of people. You can run ads to a funnel and get a shitload of leads and close sales, or you can keep doing stuff the old school way, right? And the people that are doing old school way are becoming more and more obsolete. We are at a time in our history here to where if you don't start adapting to AI, if you don't get the artificial intelligence it's like maybe, and the problem is the people that, and Victor, you know this too, the problem that skipped the funnel process, now they're trying to learn some artificial intelligence, and that shit's about 100 strokes ahead of them. And so, you know, if you miss the first train, you better fucking get on the second train or it's going to leave the station without you and there's no coming back. Elon Musk says that the biggest threat to jobs in America and really globally right now is artificial intelligence, you know? But right now we're at a period where it helps out businesses and it helps out the salesperson. So the idea for me would be to use that shit, get to know that shit, and master it now and then make a bunch of money so that if it does replace your job or whatever, what do you care because you paid anyway?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to look at it as a business owner. What's our biggest expense? It's humans, right? Humans
Absolutely.
Are the most expensive part
Payroll's
of
my biggest expense.
And it's the biggest liability as well, right? And as a business owner, I'm always trying to figure out a way to be able to cut my costs so I can pass that down to the consumer. How do you compete? I want to be able to compete in the market. I want to be able to keep my price low but still hit my margins. And that's what AI does. And it's also, you know, what they do is an amazing product, right? Like imagine you're a business owner. You don't know what your employees are saying to your customers, right? Just on a pure legal standpoint, they could be lying, stealing, and cheating to your customers. Do you know what's going on?
Happens to a lot.
Yep. And you know, that's one thing I talk to guys most. I'm like, cool, yeah, I want to listen to my guys in the home, but I also want to make sure to cover my ass. If you don't cover your ass as a business owner, you find yourself in court. And the bigger you are, the bigger your target you get, right? And I think that's been the biggest thing for me is like, I know what's said inside the house every single day now. I know what my they're saying, are they side jobbing me? Or are they doing these other things? And now I can analyze that. And then also, you know, as a business owner, you can't be in 20 homes in one day, right? If you go do a ride along with your technician, yeah, you can go help that one technician that day. But every time you do a ride along with a guy, the numbers go up. Yep. Well, now I can do a ride along with 20 guys every single day. What do you think is going to happen to the numbers? Like when people are paying attention to you and listening to you, what do? You do your fucking job. And I think that's been the biggest uptake for us in my business is like, I won't run a business without it now.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you know you're right, man. That you said something, Victor. You just touched on it's huge. It's like I want to make sure they're not side jobbing me,
dude. It's a big expense, right? Side jobbing is one of those things, or lying, stealing, like you go and lie to an old lady, right? What happens? You end up in court, and I've seen people where it's like they don't know their employees are doing this. Now all of a sudden the owner's in court getting sued and getting arrested because of lying to people or whatever happens.
He wasn't even the one that did it.
He didn't do shit.
You know?
I had a buddy out in Florida that was facing 200 years of federal prison because of what his sales guys were saying to customers in the house. He had no idea because he was so disconnected from his business. It was a large organization, but he couldn't prove any of that stuff. Well, now I got track record of everything that's said, every single call. Do you think they're going to be able to do that shit anymore?
Yep.
So it's
I like that. So if nothing else, protects your ass. So tell us a little bit about Zero, man.
Yeah, and I think it's actually good to back up to like the origin story of why we even created this. So our two co-founders, Cutco, selling knives to moms. One of them
cutthroat business.
If you make it through it, you're one of the top salespeople.
That's facts.
So our two co-founders, you know, Jake Cronin, Joe Jordan. Jake was in the top 1% of Cutco, and then Joe was in the top 2%. There's still a feud going on. They were successful. They got up to a regional position. One of them was overseeing the Atlanta office. The other one was overseeing the New Jersey office. And at that time, they were overseeing 186 reps. So they actually built this out of pain because they didn't have capacity and they didn't have the tools to get anyone near what they achieved at Cutco, right? You had a rep come up to you and said, hey, I'm struggling. Great. I don't even know where to start. And if we do start, it's going to be he said, she said, which is typical in every single industry, right? So that's where the idea of Zero came into play is if we can have Jake and Joe in every single pocket as one aspect, but as another aspect, be able to have peer-to-peer learnings to understand what the top 1% of the company are doing, we know we could solve that problem. So that's exactly, you know, why Zero was founded, is to really solve that problem. We understand there's capacity issues, like to your point with AI, right? Being able to improve the efficiencies of management, being able to manage overhead, right? It's massive. You need efficiencies.
What's your biggest marketing? My biggest expense in every business is marketing. Employees and marketing, right? So marketing is a big part. And well, if I go spend $100,000 on marketing, but I'm only closing 30% of my fucking leads, I lose 70% of my money right there. Right? How do I bridge that gap? And how do I make sure they're following my process day in and day out? Because obviously if you have a process in your business, right, and they're not following it, like shit's gonna come out wrong. Like if I go to McDonald's, they don't fucking figure out how to put that burger together the right way. It's gonna taste like shit. And that's what's happening is how do I bridge that gap and how do I also improve? If I can move 10 to 20% on a $20 million business, that's a significant amount of money. Or even a $5 million business. So I mean it's one of those things that if you don't have it, you're already losing money day in and day out.
Exactly. No, exactly. And like we actually have it on our website, but we have our whole vision statement, right? We understand field sales can be the fastest path to financial freedom, but it feels like we're doing a disservice right now by not offering the tools to be able to have visibility into understanding how to achieve that. So that's where we want to bridge that gap.
Well, I remember the first thing that happened when I introduced it to my employees were like, well, I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to listen to it. And you'll find out real quick.
Dude, people hate change.
Well, you'll find out who the shady motherfuckers are. Who's lying and stealing and cheating real quick, right?
Good point.
You find that out real quick. But I look at it like this. I was a top producer, right? I was the #1 sales guy for HVAC in the country, right? I don't know about you, but Tom Brady watches film every day. Yep. Tom Brady didn't get better because he didn't watch his film. He didn't just show up on Sundays, right? As a top 1%er in sales, like I want to be able to analyze what I did good, what I did bad, and how I can get better. So like you'll see your top performers are addicted to it because they want to see, hey, how could I move the needle 1%, 2%, 3%, right? And I think that's been the biggest uptake is like obviously those top 20%, what does they say, 20% of your employees make 80% of your income. And those top guys really want to move the needle a little bit. But now it's like, hey, if my guy comes to me, he's like, well, Ryan's getting all the best leads, and that's why he's selling more shit than me. It's like, well, let's listen to your calls and listen to Ryan's calls and see what the difference is. And all of a sudden, right away, you're like, holy shit, Ryan's doing this, this, and this. I should do that, right? And with Zero, anytime you make a sale, it actually pins it to the entire staff so they can listen and see what Ryan said on that call to see how he sold it. Now all of us can learn together and figure out what's working today to sell that job.
Yeah.
There's only 3 ways to make more money when you're in business. You get more leads, you increase your conversions, or you keep your clients longer, right? So if you're in a residual business or a repeat business, then you keep your clients longer. But the easiest way and the least expensive way is to increase conversions, which is by knowing better word tracks, which is by having better offers, which is by having a predictable closing process that you can use in an SOP across all of the company standards so that the lowest rep can say the same things as the top rep, which puts him in a position where he can become a better rep himself. So you guys really solve that problem. So talk to us a little bit about how the app itself works, right? So they go in, they put it in their pocket, they push play or sit on the table or whatever, but then what happens after the conversation?
Yeah. So
how's the feedback work? That's what I want to know.
I love that. So any mobile device, tablet, could be a phone. If it's appointment based, you're going to press it as soon as you get on the driveway, and then as soon as you get back on the driveway, you're going to close end. You're just going to stop the recording. Door to door, you can let it rip. We have the ability to break up all the conversations. Now, what happens after you press stop, after you've interacted with the customer? What we're going to do is we're going to be able to transcribe the entire conversation, understand who the customer is, understand who the sales rep is. So now we have that properly, diarized. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to analyze it. And what I mean by that is, to Victor's point, a lot of these companies who've been able to scale, it's been about one thing, it's repeatability. A lot of companies I talk to, they're like, I want to be the McDonald's of HVAC. I want to be the McDonald's of pest control. I want to be the McDonald's of solar, right? You have to break it down and be able to measure each step of the process. So what Zero does is we're able to understand the context of each step of the sale. So we understand when they're making the first impression, when they're telling the company story, when they get faced with an objection, whether it be too expensive, too busy, wife is the decision maker, right? We're able to bookmark each of these moments, understand the context, and then what we could do on that is now across the team, we're finally measuring where we can improve. When before on these conversations, if we couldn't pull apart those moments, we'd have no way of measuring it unless we actually had a manager there, which is so subjective, right? Like you have to be there hip by hip to provide the feedback.
And it's intimidating for the customers because they know, this guy's the closer or whatever the case,
Exactly. So from this, right, we're bookmarking all these key moments. So this really does 2 things. For management, we're able to understand who is following the process, where are we missing key moments in the process, what are our top objections. I guarantee you right now, if I was to press record for any of the companies out there, the objections that they're training on is not directly related to what they're seeing in the field because we can measure that. We know exactly what they're facing, right? So for management, visibility into understanding where are we falling short and where are we leaving money on the table. And then now for the reps, this is the best part about it, right? The empowerment aspect, being able to learn from each other. Since we're breaking down these moments, each rep can improve in different ways. Some of them are good at rapport. Some of them suck at asking for the sale, right? Some of them are terrible at navigating objections, or they can't identify smoke screens. So what we do is we break this apart, and then we base that on the top performer at the company. Now, if you think about that, though, there are different top performers. There are top performers who are good at building rapport. There are top performers who are building, asking for the price. There's top performers for objections and smoke screens. So what we do is we pick and pull each of those successful moments from those top performers and whatever they're specialized in to be able to share that across the entire team.
So it's cumulative. It's not just one person. It's who's the best in the company. Here's the analytics where Zach is the best closer, Taylor's the best rapport builder, Tim is the best objection handler, and then you get to share that across the whole company to where Zach, Tim, and Taylor now become equal on the same playing field, which means that you increase the conversion.
Bingo.
I love that, man.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Now be real with me. How easy is it to use? Because, everybody's like, we got this thing that you got to click 50 buttons and the dudes have a hard time struggling with technology and the management has a hard time struggling with technology. So how is the user experience of this?
Yeah. Our app is really simple. As soon as you log in, you just see a massive circle. It's simple. We have 70-year-olds using this. You tap a button, let it, it's a background running application. So it's going to be, you can put it in your pocket. You can leave it in the room with the customer, right? We're going to be able to pick up everything. As soon as you leave and go onto the driveway, you press stop and you either give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up, we won. We want to pull apart the conversation. Thumbs down, we lost. We want to be able to improve, right?
I had a conversation with the guys like, well, if it's in my pocket, how are they going to hear it? I was like, well, you probably just talked about McDonald's. You got a McDonald's ad on Facebook an hour ago. Like, we're listening all the time. Anyway.
Absolutely.
So it's all that shit's already happening. So you can hear from your pocket, no problem.
But most people set a phone on the table like this when they go somewhere anyway. You're not sitting on your phone usually,
No.
Well,
that's exactly it.
The other thing, obviously, there's a roadmap with Zero too, and the other thing, I was just talking to Taylor outside about where we're heading. So like now we're in the home, but we're also getting ready to, at the end of the year, beginning next year, we're looking to roll out the front end. So your call center, where the call comes in, who the fuck wants to listen to their call center reps and listen to what they're saying all day long? Well, now we're going to be analyzing the call center as well, and we're going to give you the key points like, hey, why didn't they book that call? Hey, they didn't do this. They didn't do this. Now you're going to be able to train your call center without having to listen to every freaking call all day long.
Man,
and
the time saver.
Dude, the amount of uptake on the call centers, like most call centers, the reason I go buy a business, the first thing I look into a business, like, hey, what's your booking rate? If I go to buy a business and they're booking at 60%, I know I can move it to 90% overnight. I just made 30% on that business the second I buy it. I already know what we're going to fix. So that's one of the biggest failure points in companies is they spend all this money on marketing. Well, their call center fucking sucks. They don't know their call center sucks or why it sucks, and they can't figure out how to improve it. So now on the front end, we're going to be analyzing the front end. We're going to be analyzing the back end, and then from that data, I'm going to know the customer's going to call in and tell me what they really want. And the call center rep is they don't know the industry. They don't even really know what the customer wants. They're just booking the damn call. Well, we're going to analyze it. And then on the back end, we're going to analyze what they said in the home. Now, if they didn't sell that job, we're working on a future where it's going to take the front end, the back end, then it's going to feed into my follow-up process. All that data is going to go into my follow-up team, and it's going to use AI to follow up and sell the jobs behind them.
I like that, man. Yeah, because if it knows what you did wrong and what you need to correct, then you could send emails and text out that stand a chance of, again, increasing those conversions.
Well, you think like, hey, exactly. Is little Timmy's room still hot? Like, you want to get this shit done or what?
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
All that stuff is, it's the future of sales, right? And the conversion, and then people are like, well, how do I get my guys to do it? And we make it pretty simple. If you do not push play on that call, you do not get commission on that call. And I made it really simple, so my guys are using it every time because they know if they go in that house, they didn't record the damn thing, they ain't getting any commission on the job.
And it's like reframing it. It's like they're in a performance-based role. The number one focus in a performance-based role should be continuous improvement, right? You think of any successful team, they're going to be reviewing game film, right? They're going to be looking for gaps in areas where they can improve. And this is actually one thing we always talk about. It's like people often think about the head coach, think about the owners of the company, but what they forget and what they neglect is the captains and assistants, right? You need to be able to have a winning culture, not just top down, but within. That's one of the things that we definitely empower, through Zero, is for people to empower each other, peer-to-peer learnings, on top of being able to have the management, right? So, it's really, truly working with that culture. But exactly, to Victor's point, is we need to have an accurate record of what is happening in the field. Not just for the game tape, call it, right? But also for compliance.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of gaps.
There's a lot of gaps, and especially like in an industry like solar or door to door and stuff, man. You know what these guys are fucking saying in the house? Like they're saying all kinds of crazy shit to get sales. You know what I mean? So, and then for me, like I liked, I've been sued enough times. I don't know about you, Ryan, but I've been sued a lot because of stupid shit that my guys are doing, and I can't analyze. I can't even figure it out before they're doing it. They can be doing it for a year, right? And all of a sudden I get called back from 6 months ago. Some guy said some shit to somebody's grandma in a house, and all of a sudden I'm getting freaked. I'm in the court, having to say, I'm sorry, here's some fucking money. Every lawsuit cost me a lot of cash.
And I think it's actually like really important call out, but reps and technicians, right? Whether it be like any field sales function, what we've done is we've actually seen this in a case study is that people who are using Xero are making $40,000 more than the people who are not using Xero
Annually.
Okay. It's a pretty
So
significant.
if you're
uptick.
making $100,000, that's a 40% income increase just because you've got something giving you good feedback and helping make you better.
Bingo.
That's awesome. I also see as a manager and a business owner, you know, we record every call that our guys make here. I don't fucking listen to them. You know, I mean, I got 7 sales guys. It's not a lot for a lot of companies. And we're doing, 20, 30 sales a day at least. And in 100 sales calls a day at least. And I don't want to listen to that shit. It's not that, let me rephrase, it's not that I don't want to listen to that, but where am I going to find time? I got to sleep at some point, Yeah. And if I've got 7 people working 10-hour days, that's 70 hours in a day of sales conversations that I would have to listen to. It's literally impossible.
Yep.
It's impossible for me to do it, me, Sean, to do it, me, Sean, Amy, and Zach to do it. It's like literally impossible. I don't have enough manpower to do that. So I'm going to need some sort of assistance to do that, Yep. And then even if I could, okay, so then let's say I had 70 hours in a day, mathematically impossible, but let's say that I have it. Then on top of that, I got to go give the feedback to the guys, which is another hour a day. So that's 77 hours a day. The feedback on every call might be another 5 hours for the day that I would be giving them feedback on. So I'm a big person that believes in efficiency. So this allows you to get real-time efficient feedback without having to listen to the call, but really, because really you're listening to a call and you're like, okay, report, blah, blah, how you doing? Great. How's the weather? It's storming outside, blah, blah, blah. And you really only need about 3 minutes of that call to see where the miss was, right? There was a certain point where you made an off-key joke or you made a promise that wasn't true or you misdiagnosed the situation, and that's the make or break part of a sales conversation. And if you can break it down to that, to where not only do I not have to search for that 3 minutes that matters in the whole call, but I'm getting feedback on how to improve that 3 minutes that matter and where that 3 minutes lost. That's one of the biggest, priceless, to be honest with you.
And that's one of the biggest things we do. We call it's our key moments, right? Like you want to know those key moments within that call and be able, like, I don't want to listen to all these calls, but now if I can know that one key moment, boom, there we go, train on that and we move forward.
Yeah.
So
huge.
It's a big deal. I mean, obviously it's one of these things I won't even run a business without it now because I got to know what's going on. And I'm not a micromanager, but at the end of the day, everything moves the needle. My only thing I look at in the business is my gross profit and my bottom line, right? How do I move the bottom line? The only way to move your bottom line is to improve efficiency. If I'm going to spend if I'm going to spend $100,000 on marketing, I want to get $70,000 worth of marketing out of it rather than $30,000 worth of marketing.
And I think you actually bring up a fair point. Is like when people are evaluating technology, like what Xero does, right? I think it's always really important to understand that we can't always just rely on management because what you're talking about is like a system to help delegate these tasks, right? That's why, whenever you're evaluating a technology like this, it's really crucial to understand, okay, great, there's a management lens where I can zoom in and I can provide feedback and it's going to help simplify. But what's even more important, and what we've seen be even more important, is being able to have the reps learn from each other and be able to build those habits, right? Because then what that does is if I'm listening to the top performer, that means I don't have to engage in a conversation because he's already learned from the top performer within the application, right? I don't have to go proactively, to him, have that sit down, and then have that one-on-one. If we can enable them to learn on the fly, build that habit.
Well, we've also built in there now, like if you go and you're part of Xero with our setup, you can actually type in there any objection you have in the home, and it will already analyze you and tell you exactly how to overcome that objection.
I was going to ask you.
You can type in there, hey, the customer said they want to think about it, and it'll give you this is exactly what to say when a customer says they want to think about it. So you can just in real time, you can be training on your phone, just asking it questions. We've already trained the AI to how to answer it based on my sales process, what I do in the house. It analyzed. I have 300 or some training videos. We took every video of every objection handling thing and then we analyze it and put it in there. So when you ask a question, and it'll tell you exactly what I would have said in the house.
Yeah.
So how does somebody get their hands on this? What website do they go to? What app do they download? How's that work?
Yeah. So if you go to our website, it's just Xero.ai. Really simple to type in, SIRO.ai. The way that we handle business is we don't like to make this transactional. We like to actually build a business case with each company because, like, to your point, there's different, places where you could focus. It could be closing rates. It could be average ticket size. It could be, no, my people aren't staying, right?
Right.
And human capital is expensive, right? So we always want to make sure that we have like the correct business case, and we want to make sure that we're aligned on that. So if you go to Zero.ai, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a conversation with you. There's a little click, book a demo up there. You're going to be hooked up with, one of us where we can actually go in there, learn exactly what the pain points are, because we have case studies ranging, again, from retention all the way to average ticket size. We want to make sure that we're serving you correctly, right? So to get started on this, the first step is just to admit that, hey, we need more visibility because that's where all of our money is coming from.
Yeah.
The execution in the field, right?
Yeah.
Let us help you to be able to identify where we can truly serve you.
So go to Zero.ai, sign up, do the demo, go through, find out if you're a fit for them, let them know your pain points. Be honest. Like, nothing's worse. Like I deal with this in Apex all the time where, we'll get on a call. It's like, what made you decide to reach out? Oh, everything's perfect, man. I'm just seeing what you guys are up to. You fucking lie. Nobody's wasting their time when things are perfect. So if you go there, be specific with your pain points so that they can actually help solve them. That's what they do. That's what they're professionals at. They've got, I'm imagining, tens of thousands, if not millions of sales calls that they got feedback on. These guys know their stuff. That's what the artificial intelligence does. It's more intelligent than us at this point. That's a fact. You can Google it. It's smarter, faster, and quicker. So go there. Let them know the real struggles, the real pain points so that they can solve them for you. And guys, I appreciate y'all coming in today.
One last thing, Ryan. If
Victor.
you guys are Apex members, you mentioned Apex. We're going to give you a significant amount of savings too. So because you're at Apex, let the rep know you're part of Apex. We will save you some money on the program. So.
And these guys will be at $1 Million Mastermind. If you haven't gotten your tickets, go to milliondollarmastermind.com, especially buy the VIP ticket. I can't say who yet, but we have a super special guest that you're not going to want to miss. And as soon as I announce it, the ticket prices are going to double. It's that big of a person that you'll never see speak anywhere else. So make sure that you go there to milliondollarmastermind.com and then stop by their booth. Give them your information, talk to them, set up a time so that after you leave the event, they can help you make more money. Like I said, there's 3 ways to make more money: more leads, longer retention on your customers, or up your conversions. They solve one of those 3 needs, if not all of them, and you can't lose. So Zero.ai. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks for having us on, Ryan.
Yep. Thank you, Ryan.